I am Janice Murray, and we're here on the Nonprofit Spotlight Show on your hometown station, 98.1 FM and AM 1220. We're here by way of KHTS Radio, and today we have Andrew Skinner, who is the executive director, owner, chief idea creator of Triumph Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, Janice, and thank you, Jerry, and everybody at the hometown station. You guys are awesome.
It is so good to see you, and I know you've got a lot going on. We've got some fun stuff to talk about, but you know what? There might be a few people. You've been around a long time in the community now, and a lot of people know you because of your events. But for those that don't know Triumph Foundation, let's talk a little bit about where the idea came from. I know that you yourself had a spinal cord injury, and I was driving here today, and I was just wondering, when you went through your injury and you spent time in the hospital, what was it that prompted you as you were going through your rehab or after you got back, to normal living or as normal as you could? What was it that prompted you to say, that was really impactful for me that somebody did this? I want to do that for someone else.
Sure. So I got injured in 2004. I was 6 months out of college and thought I was invincible and
unbreakable.
Suffered an injury in a freak snowboarding accident. Didn't look like I was hot dogging it or doing anything dangerous, but I fell the wrong or right way, however you want to look at it, and I broke my neck. And suffered a spinal cord injury to my fourth, fifth, and sixth cervical vertebrae.
Wow.
And damaged the way my nerve signals tell my body what to do, and left me paralyzed. And so I was lost in a world I never imagined I would ever become a part of. People are universally unprepared.
Sure.
And my life was shattered.
And who wants to spend time long-term in a hospital?
Right. And, in the beginning, the magnitude of it all doesn't really settle in. Certainly in the initial moments and days and weeks, there's a certain amount of just haven't come to terms with this is something I'm going to have to learn to live with. And I was really fortunate, number one, that I beat my prognosis. My initial prognosis was very glim, that I had a possibility of not being able to breathe on my own, not being able to move any muscles in my body other than my neck.
You never told me that before. Wow.
And so I was very, very blessed that my injury wasn't as severe as it might have looked in the beginning. And but I was also really fortunate that I had a great family that was there for me, and they supported me 110% throughout my recovery and to this day. And so to get back to your question, after I had reached a good point in my journey towards recovery, I always kind of felt called to help other people in similar situations. And so I started to re-engage with my peers, with other people that had a spinal cord injury or other disabilities similar to mine, and I just saw that there was a lot of unmet health needs. And I was really fortunate, like I said, that I had a family that was there for me, but I also had people that had gotten injured before me that came and gave me hope. And I can never pay that back to them, but I can pay it forward to someone else.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of the genesis of Triumph Foundation, was just to try to help out other people that are similar to me, that tragically got grafted into this family of people that suffer catastrophic accidents, and try to help them with solutions and practical advice and education, and then real tangible assistance through getting the necessary equipment and home modifications and just transitioning back out into the community.
That, I would imagine, transitioning back to a normal life. Your house is not equipped. Most of our houses, especially if they're older, are not equipped for wheelchair access with the ramp. And I know from experience when my mom and dad were, towards the end of their life and needed that wheelchair ramp, it's very, very expensive to do a modification, especially on an older home.
Right.
So your dad kind of chipped in, and that started a whole nother episode of this nonprofit.
Right. So kind of Triumph Foundation, the cornerstone is the peer mentoring, and providing, we give out care baskets that are full of resources and information I wish someone had told me about. But as we met people, we identified other needs. And we started to try to brainstorm on how we could help solve them. And so specifically in the beginning was, I'd meet people and they had barriers to return home. When I got injured, I lived in an apartment. It was on the second story, and I never went home after my injury. I ended up moving into my parents' house. I lived in the garage for the first year or two. And when I got hurt, my family comes from generations of construction, and so they just handled everything that needed to be done. They put ramps in, they modified the shower, widened doorways, took care of everything. And in the beginning, when we were meeting people, we'd talk to them, and they say, I can't go home. And we said, well, why not? Well, I have 3 stairs in front of my house. I can't even get in the door. And so one of the additional programs that we started after the care baskets was helping people with home modifications. And we did that for a long time personally by us, by Triumph Foundation, by my family connections. But as we've grown, and our outreach has stretched beyond just our local community. We're all over Southern California now. Our capability to do everybody's home modification on our own just was surpassed, and also just a lot of liability to go in and do someone's work. And so so we started a grant program. So in the beginning, we would do things ourselves, and then we started funding people's home modifications by doing fundraisers specifically for an individual's need. Hey, we want to modify Kenza's shower. Everybody, we did this was before the GoFundMe stuff, but we did fundraisers specifically for that purpose, for that cause. There's a young man named Tyler that we did a big party for at Eat for a Cause over at the Route 66 a long time ago to help him modify his bathroom. But anyways, to get back to the story, over some time, we were able to raise enough capital just to have a grant program in general, so we didn't have to always go project by project raising funding. We just raised a lot of funds. We give about close to 20% of everything we raise back to people in the form of grants.
Wonderful.
And that can go towards a home modification. It can go towards getting a proper wheelchair. It can go towards getting hand controls so someone could drive. Again, whatever needs there might be, and it's, try to limit it to necessary things.
Those kinds of things are or are not, the proper wheelchairs and the hand controls and stuff, covered by most insurance, or no?
So, just about everybody has inadequate health insurance.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter unless you have workman's comp. You're pretty much going to have some sort of need that's going to go unfulfilled. And also the equipment that's out there is, very expensive. So people have a lot of financial hardship. And so we try to fill in those gaps. So most insurance plans may cover a wheelchair, but they oftentimes will have a copay on it. Or someone might, when they're choosing their insurance plan, decide that they don't want very much coverage in durable medical goods because, I've got a pair of crutches in the garage. I've got a friend with a wheelchair. I'm never going to need that kind of stuff. But sadly, there are people like myself that find themselves in a situation where they do need something that's beyond their grandma's hospital chair.
And not every chair is alike. I know I've donated one or two when my parents both passed. I donated them to you guys, and they found a home, but they're not all the same.
No. I use, a chair that's for an active user. I'm not getting pushed around. I push myself around. And so anyhow, so we make sure that people get the proper equipment that's going to give them the freedom and independence and mobility
that's key.
To get back out to the community. 99.99% of insurances do not cover any kind of home modifications. So that's something that always is going to be a challenge for people. And then hand controls is certainly another thing that's not covered typically. So we just try to fill in the gaps where insurance falls short and government assistance programs can't reach. And I think that's really the American way, and that's kind of Triumph Foundation. We're filling in those gaps and getting people their lives back together.
Absolutely. And I am sure because you had the personal experience, you have learned a lot. So you've made connections and have resources in your back pocket when someone comes to your door or comes to the organization. You can direct them and help them, assist them in a lot of areas you probably never knew you'd need to know.
Right. I mean, like I said, my life was shattered. And this not just me. This happens to close to 20,000 Americans every year that get injured, and people are universally unprepared, and they don't know where to turn. And so, through our program with our ambassadors, we have around 75 trained ambassadors that go out into hospitals. We go to around 20 hospitals located from Santa Barbara to San Diego, San Bernardino to Long Beach. We meet people where they're at, and we just provide guidance and referrals and show them where to go and open their eyes to what's possible. I know when I was first lying in the hospital bed and being told that I was probably going to be dealing with paralysis for a long time, I was hopeless. I thought that my life was over. I thought that I would never have any use to anybody ever again. And
Can I ask you what triggered in your mind? What changed that thought pattern for you? Because that's a horrible thing to tell somebody. Even if it's true, you don't want to take their hope away. So what was it for you that made you decide, I'm going to fight this thing and I'm going to beat my prognosis?
So I was really fortunate that my doctor never said, you're never going to walk, or you're never going to do this or that. He said, you'll know in about 2 or 3 years how much you're going to recover. Ooh. And I thought that was really wise. He found some balance there. I knew that my recovery was not going to be an overnight sensation. Miracles do happen, but most of the time it's a lifelong process of working to get as much return of function as you possibly can, and working to rebuild your life in general. And so to me, I when I'd have those down days and get depressed, and Lord knows that I had a lot of those, and went through a lot of emotions from anger to sadness. And I think that's part of the healing process, is to mourn and to grieve. And so that was healthy. But I was really fortunate that I had, like I said, a family that was there to lend me a shoulder to cry on, to pray for me, to give me just support. And also to give me a good kick in the you-know-what once in a while when I just needed one. It's okay to have a pity party. You just can't stay that long. Don't stay at the party that long. So I think it's human nature to go through depression, and certainly everybody goes through a life-changing challenge that seems insurmountable, that you don't see a way to get through, and mine just happens to manifest itself very physically and very visibly. Everybody sees it, but I think every single person out there has gone through something in their life that they had to learn from, and it was something that they never wanted to happen or dreamed could happen to them. But
I agree.
There was lessons to be learned, and sometimes hardships bring the greatest blessings. And so, for me, I somehow mustered up enough strength to get into physical therapy and work my hardest to be the best me that I could possibly be.
Wonderful.
And I had a good family there that allowed me to struggle. And I think that's sometimes difficult, is people want to coddle, people want to do everything. And for me, especially without the ability to use my hands like I used to, my family had to learn how to let me just try and just try to be independent. And so that's something that we can go in and speak truth into people's lives when we talk to people that are newly injured, and just say, you've got to keep trying. You've got to have a sense of humor, because you're going to make a mess sometimes and it's going to be frustrating. And if you can't learn to laugh once in a while at yourself, you're going to go crazy.
It's going to be a long haul.
It's going to be a long haul. And so giving people, that advice and encouragement, and showing them that, hey, look, I too, I'm not able to use my hands, but I can still feed myself. I can still use a pen. I can still do these normal activities of daily living, or I can still drive a car. I can still, go on and get married and have a family and have a life.
Yes.
And all those things, like I said, I thought were impossible for me, but I was really fortunate that I had others that kind of were there to support me through that process. And so I want to be the catalyst for the next person to find their life again.
And you said you have ambassadors, some 70, 80 of them. Are they trained to know, like you said, everybody is different, and how they process that grief of losing their former life is different. So are they trained to know when to be, coddling a little, and when to kick them in the butt?
Right.
And when to go in and be there, and when to back off?
So we have close to 75, 80 trained ambassadors. They go through a professional conference. It's actually taking place this Saturday. We're going to be training around 40 new ambassadors. And we have psychiatrists that come in and social workers come in and different doctors and healthcare professionals, and also just kind of the mentors mentor the people that have been doing this for a long time, that just educate them, number one, on the operating procedures from Triumph standpoint of how our programs work, and so they feel comfortable not just saying, hey, I know of an organization, but to say I am Triumph Foundation, because our movement is far greater than just me. Triumph Foundation, I get a lot of credit for things that other people do. And but Triumph
it takes many hands to do what you guys do. We know that.
I'm the instigator, but on the other hand,
one person, but
there's
you can't
a lot
get to
of others
everybody
out there that are on the front lines, and they're the real heroes of our movement, our ambassadors. And so we teach them about HIPAA laws, and so there's a lot of laws when you go into healthcare facility, what you can and cannot say, and what you can share, and how to interact. Also, dealing with difficult behavior. I mean, sadly, when you go visit people, like I said, they're in a dark place a lot of times, and so and some people, have thoughts of suicide, and they have thoughts of just no way out, and so how to identify those red flags and how to handle them, and also how to deal with difficult behaviors just in general. Some people are a little bit more ornery than others, and so how do you interact with somebody that may say something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and then also just team building, and so our ambassadors learn how to work with each other. Like you said, no one person can do it all, and so it's a great experience, and looking forward to this Saturday, and we do it annually, and every year we grow and expand, and it's really fortunate that we've had such an awesome home base here in Santa Clarita. We're 10 years old, and I think, Janice, you had me in the first couple of years after we started. And
first time at the kiosk at the mall, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've exploded.
Yes, you have.
And
I can see that in your events that you've brought on, some really unique events. And obviously this wheelchair festival that's coming up is unique to your nonprofit, but the casino night, that's out of the box and cool and new. At the time it was cool and new for you guys, and that was very, very successful. So
so we have events going on all the time. Kind of the cornerstone, the first act, if you will, is providing that support to people that are newly injured, and running support groups and delivering those resource care packs. And then kind of the second act is getting people grants and equipment. So we help people with, like I said, grant to get a necessary wheelchair, to get access into their home, to just reintegrate back into the community. And we also have a repurposing program that you kind of mentioned before. And so kind of a cost-saving measure for us is to take people's old, used, extra durable medical goods and refurbish and repurpose them. And so we do that. And then the third and final act, which is kind of what you were alluding to, is our we do lots of adaptive recreational events and lots of social events, and we just get people out of their house, living life, being out in the community. Exactly right. Too many people that go through something like this don't feel comfortable in their own skin, and they oftentimes live a sedentary lifestyle.
But if you're already in a dark place, you don't need to be sitting at home by yourself stewing in it. You need to get out, and I love that. You guys do some crazy athletic events. I mean, things that a normal able-bodied person like me would have no place. I mean, it'd be crazy to do, but there's a way.
Right.
And that, I think, the hope and the way you teach people, there's a way to do it. You just have to adapt and utilize the tools that you have, and you can have just as much fun and do the extreme sports that anybody else is doing.
Yeah, exactly right. So Triumph does everything from traditional sports like wheelchair basketball, hockey. We took people snow skiing twice this year already. We do hand cycling on the regular, which is something really cool I want to plug really quick. We partnered with California State University Northridge, so CSUN.
Oh, cool.
And together we started a program called Valley Go at Castaic Lake. And so once a month, we're taking people up to the lake, and we're doing hand cycling and kayaking and canoeing. And it's an awesome event for the community. It's free. You do have to register before you come, but it's an awesome event. It's coming up on Saturday, February 16th. And so, March
No,
16th.
no.
It was February 16th. March 16th. And we're also doing one in April and May. And then we're going to take some time off for the summer break. Triumph will still be doing hand cycling. It just won't be at the lake. But we'll be back at it in September, October. And it's really awesome partnership that we were able to form this year to bring more activities to our local community. And so we have those programs, more aquatic stuff. And then last but not least is our Wheelchair Sports Festival, which I know is kind of one of the reasons that I came in today, was to share all about that.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We are here on the Nonprofit Spotlight Show, and we're talking with Andrew Skinner from the Triumph Foundation. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back in this next segment and talk all about the Wheelchair Sports Festival. That is an exciting event. It's been going on a couple of years now, so I know you guys have it fine-tuned, but we want to give it its due, so we'll spend the next segment talking about it. We're here on your hometown station, FM 98.1 and AM 1220. Don't go away.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
The Oasis treatment at the Ivy Day Spa begins with a gentle exfoliation, then rinsed away in warm showers. You're painted with a soothing aloe vera, shea butter, and coconut oil body mask. Then travel through the warm Hydro Cape chambers. The relaxation chamber completes your Oasis body moisturizing treatment with a pH balancing mist and a warm cup of tea. Feel refreshed, hydrated, and relaxed. Pamper yourself. The Ivy Day Spa, Town Center Drive.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Your Nonprofit Spotlight Show with Janice Murray.
KHTS. We are back on the Nonprofit Spotlight Show. I'm Janice Murray, and we are here on your hometown station, 98.1 FM and AM 1220. We're here by way of KHTS Radio, and we are highlighting the Triumph Foundation. I have the always pleasant, cheerful, lovely Andrew Skinner. You are so much fun to talk to. You just make me happy because you've got such a great disposition. And you, sir, I know are a beast. I know this was your brainchild to have this Wheelchair Sports Festival as an event for Triumph Foundation, because you look like the type that is into all these crazy, just insane sports. So let's talk about what you guys are putting on at the Santa Clarita Sports Complex.
So this is our 8th annual Wheelchair Sports Festival that
You've only
takes
been
place.
around 10 years.
I know. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know.
So our 8th annual Wheelchair Sports Festival. It's at the Santa Clarita Sports Complex.
Great
for
place
those that
for
don't
it.
know, it's this over by
It's
Home
called
Depot
something
in
else
Canyon
now.
Country. Is it
It's
now?
called the club or the... It's called something else.
No, we'll have to look it up. Google
Yeah.
it. Put
Google
in the
it. Santa
comments.
Clarita
Put it in the
Sports
comments.
Complex. That's where that skate park is,
The
right?
skate park's there, the swimming pool, the aquatic center, and then they have a huge, wonderful gymnasium that we take over, and also kind of a multi-purpose room.
Well, you can do everything there, right?
And we do.
And you do.
So this event is kind of our biggest, greatest, largest event of the year. Last year, we had over 1,200 people come, which is a big,
Really?
big group for us. And it's all inclusive, so it's for the entire community. So it's I know it's adaptive sports, but everybody's going to get a chance to play, and we do close to 15 different sports and activities, and those include wheelchair basketball, wheelchair hockey, rugby, or murder ball, which is my favorite game in the world. Which is like
See, I told you, a beast.
bumper cars and wheelchairs. It's a blast. We do racquetball, we do pickleball, we do tennis, we do hand cycling, we do baseball, we call it a rodeo, but it's an obstacle course that you have to race a wheelchair through. We do scuba diving, we do
Really?
skate park. We do it all.
What is WCMX?
So WCMX stands for wheelchair motocross, like BMX.
Oh, okay.
But it's essentially chair skating, wheelchair going in the skate park. And
Wow.
that's a really special event that we've been doing for a lot of years. It's probably the fastest growing adaptive sport out there right now. And I know that the highlight reels show the guys doing the backflips and doing the hand plants and going really crazy. And there are guys that do that really push the limits. But when we do the clinics, and specifically at this event, what really makes it special is just seeing people learning how to ride in their wheelchair, how to go down a hill without being pushed or held, how to do a wheelie, and that's a necessary skill that you need to have. How
get over
a bump or a threshold or anything. And just,
and that takes some upper body strength.
It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of courage. It just takes practice. And so the WCMX, the wheelchair skating is really special. We do get the stuntmen out there that will just blow you away with the amount of tricks that they can do. But I would say probably 80% of the people out there will be young kids, oftentimes that were born with spinal bifida or had some other kind of disability when they were young that made them have to use a wheelchair, and they are out there learning how to just be independent.
Cool.
And so it's really fun. It's really special. The skate park's really neat. Again, the scuba diving is really special. That is one activity that you do need to pre-register for, and it is limited to 10 people.
I was going to say, because you have to have one instructor
right,
per.
That one is, but everything else
for
is
safety.
Right, for safety, and there is some medical release paperwork that we need to get done. But if you would like to go scuba diving, we have plenty of spaces open. It is limited to 10 per day, and primarily for people with disabilities.
Yes.
However, Dive Heart, who does it, is an amazing program, and if there's scuba divers out there that just want to get involved, we'd love to have you come out, and we can introduce you to Dive Heart, and they can show you what they do, because they do scuba diving all over the world.
Wow.
And it's an amazing program that we partner with. We also partner with UCLA Adaptive Recreation, which does the wheelchair basketball. We partner with all sorts of different community assets out there. The local pickleball program usually comes out and does pickleball. I don't know, I can go on and on and on, but just bringing everybody together for a true day that is all-inclusive. There's nothing else like this. I don't think that it exists.
I've never heard of anything else like this. Never.
What makes our event unique is, it's children, adults, veterans of all shapes and sizes and all abilities. And so when you come, you will see not only the person that is living with the disability participating, but they'll be also participating maybe with their brother or their sister or their spouse or their child. They'll all be playing together.
And I was going to ask you about that. If they bring a partner, a family member who is not in a wheelchair, and that person wants to compete, do they have to use a wheelchair?
Oh yes, everybody gets.
Even
we play a level playing ground. We provide everything, and so you don't need to know what you're doing. You don't need to own equipment. You don't even need to have a disability. The whole community is invited to come out to see this event and be part of it.
This is a family-friendly event and a very interactive, hands-on event. I love it.
Essentially we take over the gymnasium and we do 5-on-5 games. So 10 people on, they run the clock for 10 minutes and they play a 10-minute game. And then after that, we put the next 10 people in and we just keep it going like that all day long. We'll bring around 40 extra sport wheelchairs for people to utilize. It's a blast inside the court. Outside, we have a resource fair.
I was just going to say, it's 9 to 3. Are you going to feed us?
Right.
Is there some food trucks or some food available so we can make it a day?
So I don't know, or knock on wood, but shout out to my church. Last year they did a barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Free barbecue for people. We asked for participants, challenge athletes eat for free. It's like a $5 lunch special for a burger and whatever. And then we do pizza one day.
Oh, cool.
But it's all free.
I was just going to say, is it free to participate if you want to play in these games?
So the event is free, and so we're always looking for sponsors. And so one of the ways we do that is by selling booths to be an exhibitor at our resource fair.
Okay.
And so we have around 20 to 30 booth spots where people can come out and showcase their company, let people know that they have a heart for people with disabilities. We're the fastest growing minority in the world that anyone can become a part of at any moment.
Wow.
And we need help. Triumph Foundation, I don't have a rich uncle or a daddy Warbucks or a settlement or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy that kind of felt like he was called to help others and started a monster. And somehow, some way, we been able to make ends meet, but we're looking for sponsors. If people are interested, and go to our website. It's supporttriumph.org. You can get more information on our event. You can learn how you can assist us, and we need volunteers. Volunteers are the lifeblood of our organization.
As ambassadors and for the day of the event?
Correct. So, yeah, I mean, our ambassadors are a unique crew. It's
Sure.
people that have suffered an injury like myself
Oh, I see.
that are uniquely placed and chosen to
Excellent.
represent us. The volunteer force
Can be anybody, right?
Can be, yeah, we're hoping to recruit you, Janice, and everybody else out there that's
I can
listening
come
right
and like
now.
hand out the water bottles or something.
That's exactly there's a job for that.
Yeah.
Last year we had around 200 volunteers that came
Wow.
out, and they not only helped us, but they also got to participate too. It's really a neat experience. You get to get put to work in a meaningful way, and I always say many hands makes work light.
Absolutely.
And so we get lots of people that come out and assist us and join us and make this event possible. I'm the only full-time person. My wife and I are basically the only full-time people that work for Triumph Foundation, and we have a few part-time people, but we're just trying to make it happen. So we need help. That's part of the reason I'm here today. Shout out to Hometown Station, Jerry and Janice putting me on.
Absolutely. Now, if somebody wants more information, again, about the event or about how to volunteer, they can go to supporttriumph.org or they can call 661-803-3700. That's an easy one to remember.
And that's my cell phone number. So.
Oh boy, we'll repeat that again before we're out of the show. But easy enough to find you guys. This event coming up, the Wheelchair Sports Festival, will be April 27th and 28th. That's Saturday from 9 to 5, Sunday from 9 to 3. 2 full days of some insane, intense, adaptive sports for anyone who wants to join, any fitness level, any ability or disability, any type of wheelchair or tool.
Right.
You guys are provide for those that are not in a wheelchair if they want to take part and compete as well. That has got to be a hoot. That, I would imagine those people are worse in a wheelchair, I'm sure that is just the most fun to watch.
It's life-changing. It's life-changing for the participants that come. A lot of people that haven't been exposed to any kind of active person after an accident, or a person with disability that has a smile on their face, and so they get around us and the energy in that room is contagious, and you just get uplifted, and I think it's a universal feeling. So everybody that comes out of there with an ear-to-ear grin, and
an understanding for those of us who don't live a life in a wheelchair, a better understanding of what you guys are faced with.
Right.
And just like you said, how you get from transition from one room to another, from one doorway to another, those kinds of things, getting in and out of an elevator. Nobody thinks about that, those difficulties if you're in a wheelchair. So just to have a better sensitivity
Exactly right.
is an amazing thing to offer us.
So one of the things that we do is go into schools, and we do some education to the children about people with disabilities, about inclusiveness, and show people with disabilities in a different light. And so sometimes we, in addition to just talking to the classes, we put on a small clinic or scrimmage for the kids to also
cool.
participate in. And you always get the kids that say, "Oh, wow, this is so much fun. I wish I was in a wheelchair." And you say, No, you don't.
No, you don't.
But if you have a passion for this, maybe you could choose to become a doctor or a physical therapist, or go into a career where you're working with folks like us.
Or
And so
even at this age, if you need service hours, come volunteer at one of your events.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of community service programs that come and assist us. So if you're looking for something meaningful to do at the Wheelchair Sports Festival, we also have the Care Basket building. We also have the hand cycling program at Castaic Lake. We need lots of help, and we need you. And so if you're listening right now, I'm talking to you. please check us out at supporttriumph.org. The Noli number for Triumph Foundation is my cell phone number at 661-803-3700. And you can always go on the hometown station, KHTS, and find us linked there.
Absolutely. I have to ask this question. I know that your care basket's got resources from other organizations that you probably get pamphlets and things like that to put in there, but what is in that basket, and where do you get the bulk of that stuff?
So we choose different community resources that I wish someone would have told me about. We are big on exercise as medicine. And so we, a lot of the information, the brochures that we include in there are for local places that have specialized trainers and physical therapy programs so they can continue to push themselves to get better. Everybody that gets injured gets discharged from the hospital before they really feel like they're rehabilitated. And so that's oftentimes, the first thing I want people to do is get back into physical therapy somewhere. And so we include that information on like canine companions and where to get a companion dog, information on government resources, information on just sports and rec programs in addition to us. And then the main thing in there that we share is our resource guidebook that Triumph Foundation prints and produces. And it's 100 pages long. It's 20 chapters of resources, referrals and recommendations, and it covers everything from a list of support groups to a list of grants that are out there, how to get your home modified, where to find a caregiver, tips, tricks, and equipment that covers everything from like sex to personal needs to what have you, travel, you name it, it's all in there. It's also available on our website, so if people have some questions, they can go on our website under our resources tab, and there's just a ton of information in there. My joke is, if information's your drug, then I'm your dealer. And so people get hurt, they can come to me for answers.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people don't want to ask in certain situations. Like, there's some things I don't want to ask the nurse, or I don't want to ask the doctor that I feel are kind of personal to me. I'm sure, but it's going to come up.
Right, well, it's quality of life stuff. And
Absolutely.
I can speak from experience, and I can also, just connect them with other people that they might mirror to a certain degree, and so
might feel more comfortable talking with.
We run these support groups because people are getting discharged from the hospital. I mean, an average stay is like 30 days.
That's all?
Most people, they haven't even come to grips with the fact that their injury is something permanent. And we're often, barging our way into the rooms because we want them to know that we exist, because we are the continuum of care. Hospitals, they discharge you, they're done. It's all about numbers for them, and the healthcare industry falls short. There's certain things that they're not supposed to do. There's certain things that local charities are supposed to do, and the community is supposed to come together to solve problems. And so that's where Triumph Foundation comes in, and we say that rehab starts when you go home, because that's when reality hits. You don't have that nurse call light button anymore. You still have 1,000 questions.
Sure.
A lot of times when we're doing that initial visit, we're answering questions they don't even know they have yet.
Wow.
And we're trying to get through to them to listen, but it's like drinking out of a fire hose. You can't take it all in and process it all at once. And so we're always there throughout their journey as a lifelong support network.
That's wonderful. I know that feeling. I've been in the hospital and they give you the exit papers and you get home and you're like, what did he say? What I forgot? What am I supposed to do? How you can't take it all in. And like you said, they're still processing what happened and where they're at right now. Takes time, and you guys are here. You've been here for the last 10 years. You're not going anywhere.
That's right.
Hopefully you guys stay successful with your events. This Wheelchair Sports Festival coming up April 27th and 28th is a big way for our community to see who you guys are, who you serve, what you do, a real hands-on event that we can even take part in and get some sensitivities to what you guys are dealing with on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Triumph Foundation, we do lots of activities and we have a lot of outreach. And like I said, the heart is visiting people in their hospital rooms, that bedside visit. But I can't take people in to see that. And so I think the sports festival is unique because you get it. You come there, you see the people we meet, you see the love, you see the family. It's a Triumph family, and you can be part of it.
And one other thing, if anybody is interested in supporting volunteering, I want to just give that number again, 803-3700. They can call you. They can go on supporttriumph.org and get more information. This is going to be a good one for you guys. It always is. I know it's getting
Every year
bigger
it
and
grows.
better. Every year it grows. And one of these years I'm going to come and volunteer. But you won't catch me trying to compete. I am not athletic. And last time I was doing something athletic, I tore a ligament in my wrist. So that tells you I know my limits.
Right.
But this sounds like it's going to be a fun event for everybody. We are here on the Nonprofit Spotlight Show. We're here on your hometown station, FM 98.1 and AM 1220. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Triumph Foundation. Don't go away.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
Discover the memory care your loved one deserves at Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's brand new luxury senior living community in Santa Clarita. Oakmont's innovative memory care program features stimulating and engaging activities in a soothing environment, as well as compassionate professional care delivered in the privacy of the residents' apartment homes. With 2 gorgeous outdoor courtyards, as well as an on-site movie theater, residents will enjoy a life full of vitality, dignity, and purpose. For more information, visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Are you at least 55 and have a torn interreparable rotator cuff? If so, you may qualify for a no-cost clinical study of an investigational shoulder implant. Visit rotatorcuffstudy.com. Learn more about the study being conducted at Southern California Orthopedic Institute's Valencia Clinic at rotatorcuffstudy.com. See a video of the device and get more information on how to enroll at rotatorcuffstudy.com.
That's rotatorcuffstudy.com, rotatorcuffstudy.com.
Sponsored by Micro-Air Surgical Instruments.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Nonprofit Spotlight with Janice Murray.
KHTS.
We're back on the Nonprofit Spotlight Show. I am Janice Murray, and we are here on your hometown station, 98.1 FM and AM 1220. KHTS. I am so excited to have had the conversation today with Andrew Skinner. He's here talking about the Triumph Foundation, and again, you just make me so happy because you're so full of joy and hope and fun. And to see that we have a place for the whole community to come out and have some fun with you guys at Triumph Foundation. That is your Wheelchair Sports Festival, April 27th and 28th. But there's a couple of other things that we want to talk about, and we want our listeners to understand that when they go to your events, when they support your fundraisers, that money helps to support your programs.
All of our programs, and the mainstay of our program is being those first responders that roll and go into someone's hospital room with that initial hope of you can make it through the day, you can make it in your life, and you can still have purpose and meaning. I remember when I was first in the hospital room and suffering and not really understanding what had happened to me, just feeling totally depressed and not thinking that my life could have any kind of purpose or meaning, and that wasn't what God had planned for me. And
Absolutely.
So I was really fortunate that I had people that believed in me, that were there to support me, and one of my friends told me it's kind of like the butterfly effect of, you know, one event can trigger thousands of unrelated events that can lead into a huge movement. They say a butterfly in New Mexico can cause a hurricane in China. And so similarly with my injury, you know, I thought that this was over for me. And I was really fortunate that I had people that had gotten injured before come and flap their butterfly wings on my door and
stir you up,
stir me up, and then I carried me on to starting Triumph Foundation in 2008, and never dreaming that it was going to become a hurricane of care in the Southern California community that's just changed the face of people with disabilities. We are the continuum of care. We are making a tremendous impact, and it's because of local supporters, individual donors, some corporate sponsors, people that see what we're doing and get it. They know that we are making quality of life a reality for people. We are not just a sponge. There is return on their investment. And so we always need support, whether it be coming out to volunteer to build care baskets, which we'll be doing later in March. I already plugged. We have our Castaic Lake kayaking canoeing program on March 16th. We have some other big programs. We're doing a fundraiser in July. July 13th is our big fundraiser. It's a Let 'em Roll casino night, and it's at the Universal Hilton, so mark that in your calendar, July 13th. It's the best party of the year. You will love it. We will celebrate. We will dance. We will play. And we will just enjoy each other's company, enjoy the moment, and just celebrate our abilities. And so July 13th is our big fundraiser of the year. We'd want to invite everybody to come out and join us. And then in September, we do a 5K. It's Superheroes Triumph 5K. It takes place in Van Nuys at Lake Balboa. We go around the lake there. And we have super capes, so everybody that comes is going to get a super cape. And we have a best costume contest. And one of the best things that we do at that event, too, is we have people that try to walk as much as they can, whether it be the full 5K or the just 5 steps. Because a lot of people that have an injury like me or have a disability, they may use a wheelchair, but they also can walk. And a lot of them are working towards walking as far as often as they can. And
cool.
So this is a great place where they can challenge themselves. That's what we call it, the challenge. To walk as far as you possibly can through the finish line. So it's so meaningful to see people rise up out of their wheelchairs, get up, take those steps across the finish line. Like I said, the energy at the event is just incredible, so motivational. We all go through tough things in life, but sometimes it's not what happens to you, but what you do about it.
Absolutely.
And so Triumph
Well
Foundation,
said.
our mission is for everybody is to triumph over obstacles that you face. Our motto is getting better every day, and so I think that's a universal goal, is to be better tomorrow than you are today. And when you come out to our Wheelchair Sports Festival on April 27th, 28th, or when you come out to our Let 'em Roll Casino Night on Saturday, July 13th, or our Superhero 5K in September, you will understand what this movement's all about, and you'll want to be part of it, every single activity. And so I'm hopeful that you guys will all be here. You can always go on hometown station KHTS to check our schedule out. I know they're always plugging their awesome events calendar, so follow them. Thank you guys for having me on the radio every year to share our stories.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you do, Andrew. I've got another question.
Sure.
It just popped in my head. One of the other things that you said you guys do is the support groups. Is that at the hospitals, or where are those held?
So that's a really good question. So we run
else?
around 15 different support groups.
Wow.
That meet mostly at the rehab hospitals, kind of the epicenters of where people are at.
And would that information be found on your website?
Everything's found on our website.
Excellent.
We have a page that's just dedicated to that. We don't have a support group here in Santa Clarita. It's been on our hearts and minds for a while. We have one that takes place in Palmdale, and we have one that takes place in Northridge. And Henry Mayo Newhall Hospital is one of our supporters, and so we would like to build one here, but it's demand and leadership. And so if there's anybody out there that has a heart for it, we'd love to talk to you. Maybe that's something that comes down the pipe. But we do lots of activities out here in Santa Clarita, and so there's that. And honestly, Northridge Hospital and Palmdale are, 20, 30 minutes away, so it's not crazy far. And anybody is welcome to attend. They are spinal cord injury focused, but anybody that can benefit is welcome. And that includes not just the person who may be dealing with a disability or an injury, but their caregivers, their moms, their dads, anybody, their friends. They can come and be part of it. Some of them are held weekly, some of them are held monthly, and each one's got its own personality, and they're all fun, and we want you to be part of them. So that is kind of in addition to the care baskets, the support groups.
I'm glad I asked.
Yes, thank you. It's very important.
So one last time, if you want more information about anything that we've talked about today in the show, anything that's coming up event-wise, you can always go to supporttriumph.org. That's TRIUMPH. Or you can call Andrew at 803-3700.
You got it.
I got it. We are so appreciative that you took the time to come here, especially the little break we had. Thank you so much for sticking around, Andrew.
I'm thrilled. It's always fun to come into the studio.
Absolutely.
Everybody here at the Hometown Station takes care of me. So thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, everybody out there. Appreciate your support, and check us out.
See you at the Sports
See more
Festival.
of you soon.
We are at the top of our hour. We're going to get you caught up with some national and international headlines. And everybody, we're here on your hometown station, 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Have a great day.